Hey, I just wanted to share some things that I just read from a book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. So I'm just going to read it word for word and you'll know if it's something that is right for you or not. Love you lots. I'm just going to skip to the first chapter instead of reading the foreword. I might go back and record that later, but this chapter is called Beginning. And again, this is Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It by Kamal Ravikant. I was in a bad way, miserable, out of my mind. There were days when I'd lie in bed, the drapes closed, day outside sliding into night and back to day, and I just didn't want to deal. Deal with my thoughts, deal with being sick, deal with heartache, deal with my company tanking, deal with life. Here is what saved me. I'd reached my breaking point. I remember it well. I couldn't take it anymore. I was done with all of this. This misery, this pain, this angst, this being me. I was sick of it. Done. Done. And in that desperation, I climbed out of bed, staggered over to my desk, opened my notebook, and wrote, quote, "This day I vow to myself to love myself, to treat myself as someone I love truly and deeply, in my thoughts, my actions, the choices I make, the experiences I have. Each moment I am conscious, I make the decision. I love myself." End quote. There was nothing left to say. How long it took me to write this? Less than a minute, perhaps. But the intensity, it felt like I was carving words onto paper through the desk. I'd been disgusted with myself. I could love another and wish them well, but what about me? From now on, I would focus only on this thought, for me. How to love myself, I did not know. All I knew was that I had made a vow, something far greater than a commitment, bigger than an I wish or a nice to have, a vow. I was going all in or destroy myself trying. There was no middle ground. In my bedroom, in the darkness, with a city outside that had no idea of the decision that had been made or even cared, I set out to love myself. And the way I did it, it was the simplest thing I could think of, and one that I knew I was capable of. I started telling myself, I love myself. A thought I would repeat again and again. First, lying in bed for hours, repeating to myself, I love myself. 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 The mind would wander, of course, head down rat holes, but each time I noticed, I'd return to repeating, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And it continued. First in bed, then showering, then when online, then when I'd be talking to someone, inside my head, I'd be going, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. It became the anchor, the one true thing. And I got better. My body started healing faster. My state of mind grew lighter. But the thing I never expected or imagined, life got better. But not just better. Things happened that were fantastically out of my reach. Things I couldn't have dreamt of. It was as if life said, "Finally, you idiot, and let me show you that you made the right decision." It did. People came into my life. Opportunities arose. I found myself using the word magic to describe what was happening. And through it all, I kept repeating to myself, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. In less than a month, I was healthy. I was fit again. I was naturally happy. I was smiling. Amazing people were coming into my life. Situations were naturally resolving themselves. And through it all, whether I was at my computer again or kissing a pretty woman, in my head, I'd be telling myself, I love myself. In all honesty, in the beginning, I didn't believe that I loved myself. How many of us do? But it didn't matter what I believed. All that matters was doing it. And I did it the simplest way I could think, by focusing on one thought again and again and again and again, until it was more on my mind than not. Imagine that. Imagine the feeling of catching yourself loving yourself without trying. It's like catching a sunset out of the corner of your eye. It will stop you. This chapter is called Why Love? Why not I like myself or I accept myself? Why, oh why does it have to be love? Here's my theory. If you've ever been a baby, you've experienced love. The mind knows it on a fundamental, even primal level. So, unlike most words, love has the ability to slip past the conscious and into the subconscious where magic happens. What if you don't believe that you love yourself? Doesn't matter. Your role is to lay down the pathways, brick upon brick, reinforce the connections between the neurons. The mind already has a strong wiring for love. The body knows it as well. It knows that love nurtures, that love is gentle, that love is accepting. It knows that love heals. Your job is not to do any of these. Your job is purely to love yourself, truly and deeply. Feel it, again and again. Make it your single-minded focus. The mind and body will respond automatically. They don't have a choice. Here's the best part, one that makes me smile as I write this. As you love yourself, life loves you back. I don't think it has a choice either. I can't explain how it works, but I know it to be true. When you find yourself using the word magical to describe your life, you'll know what I'm talking about. This chapter is called The Practice. I've tried to break down exactly what I did that worked and how one can replicate it. Comes down to 3 things which I'll explain in later chapters. Number 1, mental loop. Number 2, a meditation. Number 3, one question. All 3 gently return me to self-love. That's the beauty of this practice. It's simple, it's practical, and the results are far greater than you could imagine. After all, if you loved yourself truly and deeply, would you limit your life to what you previously thought possible? Nope. You'd blow your own socks off. There is one requirement, a fierce commitment to loving yourself. This, I'm afraid, can't be skipped. What if you don't believe that you love, or heck, even like yourself? Doesn't matter. If you have to build up to it, that's okay. The practice works in a way the mind is designed to function. The mind has no choice but to adapt and respond. Just remain open to the possibility of loving yourself. The rest is easy. Window. Darkness is the absence of light. If you remember this, it will change your life. Changed mine. It is this concept that the practice is based on. Any negative thought is darkness. How do you remove it? Do you fight fear or worry? Do you push or drown away sadness and pain? Doesn't work. Instead, imagine you're in a dark room and it's bright outside. Your job is to go to the window, pull out a rag, and start cleaning. Just clean. And soon enough, light enters naturally, taking the darkness away. It's that simple. Each time the mind shifts to darkness, fear, worry, pain, you name it, when you notice, clean the window. Light will flow in. Love and memory. Memory is not set in stone. Any neuroscientist will tell you that. The more you remember something, especially if it's emotionally charged, the more you will reinforce the pathways connecting the neurons. Simply put, the more you think about it, the more you feel it, the stronger the memory. Here's the interesting part. It's not just the act of recall that strengthens a memory. Another factor shapes and even changes it. The state of mind you are in when remembering something. The implications of this are transformative. Take a random experience, a relationship that ended years ago. Consciously recall it when you are miserable. You'll naturally find yourself focusing on the negative parts, and those will grow stronger in memory. Conversely, same exact experience, but recall when you're happy. Notice the change? It's still the same experience. It's still your mind, but the filter is different. And the filter shifts the focus, which subtly changes the memory. More importantly, it changes how the memory makes you feel, the power it has over you. There's a solution here, a powerful one. If a painful memory arises, don't fight it or try to push it away. You're in quicksand. Struggle reinforces pain. Instead, go to love. Love for yourself. Feel it. If you have to fake it, fine. It'll become real eventually. Feel the love for yourself as the memory ebbs and flows. That will take the power away. And even more importantly, it will shift the wiring of the memory. Do it again and again. Love, rewire. Love, rewire. It's your mind. You can do whatever you want. Mental loop. I sit at my desk. San Francisco sparkles through the large bedroom windows. A Coca-Cola sign blinks off, then rebuilds itself, one letter at a time. I see cars on Market Street, red taillights. The famous tower over Twin Peaks is swallowed up by the night, hidden by fog. A neighbor's balcony light comes on. Sliding door opens, a woman in shorts and a t-shirt steps out, kneels to pick something up, then returns inside. The door shuts. If you were to open up my head at this moment and peer within, you'd find yourself asking with a thick southern drawl, does this boy not have any imagination? There is only one thought running through my head. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. For days, ever since I made the vow, this has been my only focus. Sometimes as a whisper, sometimes silent. When I brush my teeth, mumbling. In the shower, loud, non-stop. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I have nothing to lose. This is all there is. I love myself. I love myself. I don't give a darn about anything else. I love myself. I once heard someone explain thoughts as this. We as human beings think that we're thinking. Not true. Most of the time, we're remembering. We're reliving memories. We're running familiar patterns and loops in our head. For happiness, for procrastination, for sadness, fears, hopes, dreams, desires. We have loops for everything. We keep replaying the loops, and they in turn trigger feelings. It's automatic to the point where we believe that we have no choice, but that is far from the truth. Imagine a thought loop as this, a pathway laid down by constant use, like a groove in rock created by water. Enough time, enough intensity, and you've got a river. If you had a thought once, it has no power over you. Repeat it again and again, especially with emotional intensity, feeling it, and over time, you're creating the grooves, the mental river. Then it controls you. And that is why a focused mental loop is the solution. Take this one thought, I love myself. Add emotional intensity if you can. It deepens the groove faster than anything. Feel the thought. Run it again and again. Feel it. Run it. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. Just focus on this one thought. Make it your truth. The goal here is to create a groove deeper than the ones laid down over the years. The ones that create disempowering feelings. They took time as well. Some we've had since childhood. Which is why this requires a focused commitment. Why it must be a practice. Forget demolishing the grooves of the past. What you're creating is a new groove. So deep, so powerful, that your thoughts will automatically flow down this one. It takes time, sure. Took me a month to go from misery to magic. But you will notice changes. Shifts in your feelings, beautiful happenings in your life. Expect them. There'll be more and more until one day you'll be walking outside in the sunshine, feeling good, loving life, and life loving you back. And you'll stop and realize that it's now your natural state. Can you imagine a better way to be? I know this is out of order, but I feel I might have to take a break in a second. So I'm going to do number 3 before number 2. One question. It's easy to say, I love myself, while locked inside my apartment, recovering from being sick. Tougher when I'm back to the land of the living, interacting with people who have their own issues and mental loops. That is where the question came from. In dealing with others and reacting to their negative emotions with my own, I found myself asking this question. If I loved myself truly and deeply, would I let myself experience this? The answer always was a no. It worked beautifully. Because I'd been working on the mental loop, the step after no was clear. Rather than solving the emotion or trying not to feel it, I would just return to the one true thing in my head. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. This question is deceptively simple in its power. It gently shifts your focus from wherever you are, whether it's anger or pain or fear, any form of darkness, to where you want to be. And that is love. Your mind and life have no choice but to follow. Okay, so just really quick, some commentary. So I just read this book really quickly all the way through, and I just thought, what if? What if with everything that we're going through right now and the difficulty, the heaviness, the impossibility of the problems that we're facing, what if the simple answer could be for each of us to just focus our mental energy for the next 30 days on the phrase, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. What if? I think there's so much work that needs to be done with our nervous systems, right? We've talked about that. We need healing there. Obviously, we need exercise and sunshine and grounding and time with friends and safe places to cry and laugh. And we need joy. We need to pursue things that bring us joy. And there's all these, we need God, we need prayer, we need all of these things, all these good things, right? But as we're working on all of that, it certainly wouldn't hurt to repeat over and over and over, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. So I don't know. I have kind of had in my head, these different things that I'm working on to try to overcome, the mental illness struggles that I've had, the situations, the difficulties in marriage and with parenting and, just kind of the loop of the struggle, the rat race with money, and wanting to be in a flow and giving and sharing more of our blessings and feeling like I can't do that because, Brian doesn't believe that, or, whatever excuses or whatever obstacles seem to be in the way. But what if? What if everything could start to shift from this moment? What if all the memories that we have, there's a later chapter where he talks about as he got really good at loving himself, he would have memories come up where he realized why he was doing the things that he was doing because of beliefs that had been implanted in his brain from experiences that he had, trauma, right? And those beliefs would come up. And then he would go to this mental loop of I love myself, and rewire in his mind those traumatic events. What if it could be that simple? What if that is truly what Jesus Christ was trying to teach us? To love God and to love ourselves. What if that's really the answer, right? Or the starting place of shifting everything in our personal lives with these incredible, incredible burdens that we are carrying right now, and pleading for answers and direction and relief from. What if it could be that simple? I want to believe that. I want to believe that God has given us something that simple, because he is that good. Okay, just a few more thoughts, and then I'm actually going to read this chapter on belief that I was just telling you about. Love casteth out fear, right? So we know that we all need more love, because all of us struggle with fear. And we know that charity never faileth. And boy, do we need to not fail. Do we have so many things we're trying to overcome and succeed in? And I wonder, what if God is God because he loves himself so much? That he loves himself so perfectly that it made him into a God. What if he sent us here to learn that? To learn that if we just love ourselves, we are gods. Like, because doesn't that remove all fear, which then allows our faith to move mountains? And that would just be so simple. That would just be crazy, right? So I'm just going to commit to the practice of constantly saying, I love myself, I love myself. So in conversations with other people, instead of going to, please, Heavenly Father, help me, I'm just going to do what he's told us to do, which is to love God, which we're told in Mosiah 2:17, that the only way we serve God is by serving our fellow beings, right? Well, the way he says, when you're in the service of your fellow beings, you're only in the service of your God. And so truly the way we serve him is by loving. And we have to love ourselves. That's part of the 2 great commandments, right? So what if instead of praying for his help, I obeyed what he has commanded us to do, which is to love. And I just repeated to myself over and over, I love myself. Anyway, that would just be crazy if it was that simple. So I'm going to try it and see. And for some reason, as I was reading this book, I was like, I have to share this. Even before I have experiences myself and can witness to its truth. And later on in the book, he says, maybe this isn't your phrase. Maybe your phrase isn't, I love myself, but commit to something. Commit to whatever truth has been put on your heart that you need to, that has been put there to save your life, to give you the joy and the magic that you are meant to have as a human being. And I just love that. I love that he's open to that he's saying, this is the phrase that worked for me, and I think it can work for everyone else, but maybe not. Maybe you're called to focus on something else. But anyway, I thought that was cool. Belief. A side effect of loving myself fiercely was that it started to dislodge old patterns, thoughts and beliefs that I didn't even know existed. Whether having coffee with a friend or reading a book, I would have flashes of insight into myself. They were so clear. It was like my life was a deck of cards, each with a picture of situations I'd experienced, all falling down at me. Flip, flip, flip. And the only thought was, oh my goodness, it all makes sense. Here's one example. I've always known that growth is important to me. If I don't feel like I'm growing, I'm drifting, depressed. But what I didn't know, until the practice of self-love showed me, was my belief about growth, real growth. This was my belief about growth. Real growth comes through intense, difficult, and challenging situations. Can you see how that would define the path of my life? It was immediately obvious where it came from. The first time I felt like I grew in a way that I was no longer the same, I was far better. U.S. Army Infantry Boot Camp. Was it intense? Yes. Was it difficult? Yes. Was it challenging? Every day. Was it happy or joyful? No way. Centuries of military protocol designed it to be miserable. But it's something I've always looked at as a defining experience. One I'm proud of. I went in as an insecure 18-year-old. I came out knowing I could handle anything thrown at me. That was growth. What we believe, that's what we seek. It's the filter we view our lives through. I've actively thrown myself at intense and difficult situations, all situations where I grew. But at what price? Another example. In building my company, I came across as someone who was driven to succeed. Many told me so. I thought that as well, until I loved myself. Then one day, I woke up to a spotlight shining on that belief. Except the truth was a slight twist. I was driven to not fail. Huge difference. No wonder my company went the way it did. The intense and consistent work to keep moving it forward one step away from disaster, always somehow pulling it off, then moving to avert the next disaster, never failing, but never taking off the way I knew it should. The good news is that once the spotlight shines from within yourself, there is no going back. The patterns of the mind that held you back fall away on their own, like rusty old armor you don't need anymore. With each insight, there is freedom, a sense of lightness, and growth. Oxygen. After I gave that talk at Renaissance Weekend, which is from the foreword that I didn't read to you, that's just where he shared this message in person. One person said to me, "You must love others first." I respectfully disagree. It's like what they tell you during pre-flight instructions. In case of emergency, if oxygen masks drop from above, put yours on before you help someone else. As I started to love myself, things inside me shifted. Fear strengthens the ego. Love softens it. I became more open, vulnerable. It was natural to be gentle with others, even when they weren't loving towards me. And the times it wasn't easy, I had the resources, the loop, the meditation, the question to return to self-love. There is power in this. Rather than reacting to situations, I found myself choosing how I wanted to be. That in turn created better situations and ultimately a far better life. Okay, I probably need to get back to my family. I just had to get this recorded. So, I just really, really hope that there are some nuggets that you can pull out of this, that maybe there's some kind of an answer for you to get some kind of relief or extra strength or guidance with what you're going through. And, that it will just bless you. I really, really just pray blessings and love over all of you. If you are here, it's because I love you so deeply, or because someone that I love deeply loves you and invited you. So feel that love and know that you are loved. And I hope that you will choose to love yourself fiercely. And I just believe that it will change everything for us. And there is so much other work to do too. But what if we could just start there? What if that simple thing could change everything for us? And the struggle we've been going through could start to shift. The struggles, I should say. There are many for each of us. Love you guys so, so, so much. Okay, one last thing before I commit to my family. I have not read all the chapters. Step number 2 is a meditation that he recommends. Just kind of one of the ways that he applied this in a really formal way every day, where he listened to he found a favorite piece of instrumental music, and that happened to be 7 minutes long. And so he would turn that on and meditate. And on the inhale, he says, I love myself. On the exhale, he breathes out anything that comes up, and just over and over and over. He recommends, what worked for him was sitting with his back against a wall or a window and crossing his legs or stretching them out, whatever felt most comfortable, to close your eyes and smile slowly and imagine a beam of light pouring into your head from above. So I'll read that whole chapter and what he did that was helpful. And he also has a second meditation that he recommends, but I'll have to do that later because it's kind of a long chapter. But I wanted to share a link to the Sharecast in case anyone comes to mind that you think could benefit from listening to this right now. You're welcome to just share the link with them and give them your own introduction or whatever you want. I might be able to go redo the introduction so that it has a little bit more of an explanation. I'm not actually sure. This is my first Sharecast, so thanks for being here and for helping me figure it out by letting me experiment on you. I am getting your messages when you send them to me individually, so you can send them through the Sharecast if they're about the Sharecast if you want to. It just keeps them all in one place, but you're welcome to just do a separate polo to me in our own Marco Polo group. Just whatever is easier for you. So it seems to be working. So love you lots. Okay, for real, the last thing. Lucretia asked me which book I'm reading, and it sounds like he might have written an updated version, but when I grabbed my copy, it's really short. So maybe he must have an updated one that's a lot longer. But this one is from 2012. So I think it must be his original. It has a terrible cover, just to warn you. I actually taped over it. So, it has this picture of a guy with a gun to his head. And I was like, I don't want to look at that every day. That's so disturbing. So I just taped over it. And yes, this is my messy room. I should have just turned that back around as soon as I was done. Anyway, thanks for putting up with my craziness. And I just hope you're being blessed and that you have a fantastic rest of your day after watching this. See ya.